I just graduated with my computer science degree, and honestly, one of the biggest things that I learned is how much school really did not teach me. Like the actual degree, the classes, the exams, and the homework and all that, that's all fine, but nobody really sat me down and told me how to get a job. I mean, I studied computer science, not how to get a software engineering job, but I mean, I should have learned that. That's what YouTube's for, right? That's why you're watching this video. The first thing you need to understand is that your CS degree is not the job training, and it was never designed to be. What school actually teaches you is how to think. Data structures, algorithms, discrete math, operating systems, these all build the way that your brain approaches problems, and that kind of does matter, honestly. But school assumes that once you have that foundation, you'll just figure out the rest, and most people really don't. The gap between graduating and actually getting hired is where most people get lost, and it's not because they're not smart enough. It's mostly because nobody told them the rules of the game they were playing. So let me tell you those rules. Most CS resumes are just bad, and the person sending them usually has no idea. It might even be you. The number one mistake, writing what you actually did instead of what you built and what you impacted. There's a really big difference between saying you worked on a backend team and you built an API that cut response time by 40%. That one sounds a lot better. And the other one kind of just sounds like a job description. Every bullet that you put needs to follow this format. You have an action verb, what you built, and the result. That is the whole formula right there. You can pause the video and change your resume if you need. The most important part of your resume, though, is the project section. This matters the most out of anything. More than your GPA, more than your coursework. Companies want proof that you can actually build things, and your transcript really does not show that. Your GitHub does, your Twitter does, anywhere you can post what you did, anything you can showcase your projects, that's what actually matters. I originally wasn't even a CS major. I went into college wanting to do business. So I started off as an economics major and I took a computer science class and I kind of fell in love with it. But the one thing that I didn't know was how job recruiting actually works. And here's how it does. Big tech recruiting, things like Google, Meta, Amazon, Microsoft, these all open in August and September for the next summer. Not a few months before, like in January, not even in November. They open in August, and that means by the time people even think about applying, most of the best spots are already gone. So September is usually the first date that you want to apply by. You want to send out all of your resumes to all these companies. If big tech feels out of reach early on, I did not get big tech as an internship early on. That's definitely not something I was capable of. That's totally fine. Just land anything. Could be a small startup, a local company, even a research role. It all counts and it's all going to stack up on your resume. Every summer, you should have something though, because an internship return offer is definitely the single fastest way to a full-time job. I mean, hey, that's how I got mine. Companies would rather hire someone that they already know than run a full recruiting cycle on random people. This is probably going to be the most controversial topic that I talk about in this video, but it is what it is. Leetcode is something you just have to do. I know, just accept it and move on and do it. But the mistake that most people make is that grinding random problems is not going to be the strategy that you want. That's not anything good. That's just straight up suffering right there. The right approach is learning patterns and not trying to memorize solutions. There's usually about 15 core patterns that covered in most interviews. Things like two-pointers, sliding window, breadth first search, depth first search, dynamic programming, binary search, all these things. You just gotta memorize these different ways of coding, and once you do, then you'll be able to recognize a pattern in a real interview. Another thing that people cringe at is using LinkedIn and other social media, but honestly, it is a pretty good resource to get noticed because things like these, job recruiters, people working, they're scrolling it in general, and if you post something cool and it gets some traction, then hey, that's just free publicity on your whole account, and it's just everything about you. So you never know, it could land you a free opportunity right there. You should also try to specialize as well. Pick a lane like backend, machine learning, data, security, front end. All of these are pretty good, and you should try to build your story around at least one of them. I specialized in AI and machine learning because I thought that was going to be a hot topic. So I took a lot more classes related to that, but you can choose something that you're way more passionate about besides just like AI and try to learn as much as possible about it. Nobody really talks about this part in videos, but I'd argue it's probably one of the most important ones. The job market right now is genuinely really hard. You will apply and hear nothing. You'll get ghosted by companies you've had multiple round of interviews with, and you're just supposed to act like it's normal. You'll watch people who have seemingly worse resumes get offers before you, and all this is going to happen to you maybe, but it doesn't really mean you're failing. It's just the state of the job market right now. The people who make it through aren't always the most talented. They're just the most consistent. They keep applying, they keep building, and they keep improving, and they don't give up. Set a process, not a goal. Instead of, I want to get a job by March, try, I'm going to apply to 10 companies a week, do 5 Leetcode problems this week, and then try to reach out to 2 people on LinkedIn. That's something you can actually control, not setting a hard deadline and when you're going to get a job or when this is going to be achieved. Overall, I'd say my degree is worth it. Not necessarily for the schooling, but just for the amount of things I learned over my 4 years in college. It's probably one of the most valuable times of my life. It really just gave me a foundation on how to learn. The resume, the job search, the projects, the network, that's everything that you have to do. But the earlier you understand what you have to do, then the better off you're going to be. This channel is going to be everything that I learned the hard way, so you don't have to figure it out alone. Subscribe if that sounds useful to you. Thanks for watching.